You're listening to the Modern Healthcare Back Office, a podcast dedicated to solving the billing issues and gridlock facing the healthcare industry, presented by ProChant, hosted by Chuck Ellis and Rachel Schools.
Well, hey there, folks. Chuck here, and welcome to another edition of the Modern Healthcare Back Office. We are doing kind of a special episode today. I am joined by our Chief Revenue Officer, Mr. Joey Graham. Hey, Joey, how you doing today?
Hey, Chuck, I'm doing very well. Thanks so much for having me on again.
Also joined by Melissa Wagner, who is our VP of DME Services. Thanks again for joining us, Melissa.
Thank you. Glad to have the opportunity.
And the reason this is a special episode is kind of a recap because we all just got back from Atlanta for Medtrade East, and it's the last Medtrade East before they consolidate into one single Medtrade. So this is kind of a swan song, bittersweet gathering, but also a really fun one because the Medtrade shows are kind of integral to the HME DME business. So Joey, I want to start with you and get your overall take of the last Medtrade East.
It was kind of bittersweet to say goodbye to Atlanta, I would have to say. Even coming to Medtrade Fall and now Medtrade East for many years now. And so it's always become kind of a tradition. It's the one time a year I go to Atlanta, stay downtown, all the restaurants. And so it's definitely the end of an era. But it was also a really good experience. I think obviously attendance was up from last year. We're starting to see that COVID recovery. It was a really good experience. So I'm sure we'll talk more about like talk on the floor, stuff like that. But overall, it was a great Medtrade.
Yeah, share similar sentiments. I've been to many Medtrades myself. It's always bittersweet to have a change like that occurring. But as with all Medtrades, there's always some very valuable takeaways in terms of the sessions, the networking opportunities, what's going on in the industry, and how this industry in particular always seems to take oftentimes quite a bit of adversity, trying to turn it into opportunity and keep the staying that keeps this industry alive and thriving.
Yeah, I agree. And full disclosure, this was my first and last Medtrade East. I'm getting my feet wet in the world of HME, DME, and it was really a cool show. Like it was an impressive way to really get my hands on the experience of one of these types of events, and I met a lot of really great people. We're going to have quite a few of the people that I talked to on the podcast later, so make sure that you subscribe and stick around for those. But, for me, it was awesome because of all those great workshops, and one that I attended that I really liked was the billing and reimbursement benchmarking one. It's hosted by Rhonda Burmester of the VGM Group and Miriam Lieber, who is the president of Lieber Consulting, and really kind of interesting to see the state of where billing and reimbursement is in HME and how that is still a significant struggle that most folks in the HME DME world are facing. And that's nothing new to us as we deal with that every day. But for the industry itself to hear folks in attendance express their frustrations with the increasing red tape and bureaucracy of insurance and the changing regulations and the changing policies and having to keep up with this stuff, like it was pretty clear to me that this is that back office processes are very much a hot topic for folks that were attending this event. And there were quite a few sessions that were specifically around billing and back office processes.
As you know, I've been around the revenue cycle, HME revenue cycle world for a pretty long time. And it's an interesting dichotomy to coming into the industry somewhat new and experiencing some of the same things that we've been hearing year over year. Fortunately, sometimes not a lot, what's constant changes, that other changes, right? It's all the same. So a couple of sessions that I attended, one of them in particular was specific to, and it was framed in a rather engaging way in terms of a forensic approach. And I've actually used that word myself in working to Dallas before. And some of the takeaways from there were things that industry is, I think, bracing for impact when it comes to the PHE termination, or when the PHE is going to end, and what some of the Medicare implications might be when that happens. And there's still a lot of unknowns. So some great conversation around that, and certainly have some takeaways to share with our team and some opportunities to be proactive and helps be supportive and assistive to our clients in managing through that because there's still quite a few unknowns. Some other things, documentation changes are coming, Medicare, so some of the denial factor in terms of what might be coming down the road with some of the CMN changes, other, again, opportunities for us to be proactive and assistive of our clients, as well as being prepared for some of that impact that we might experience in terms of payments. And I think also some continued opportunity through that too, for us to engage in opportunities to proactively manage some of those known and impending changes and not necessarily be it once or twice a year at a trade show, but to be a bit more proactive and supportive of our clients when those things are happening because the impact is the client crosses us, etc. Another one that I attended, which was very valuable and confirmed as well as challenged some information, was one that was called Hotspots and Revenue Cycle, and probably similar to the benchmarking session that you attended. A talk around health revenue. In years past, it was a lot about you to kind of not pay a lot of as much attention to your patient pool. That was a big topic. That's been a big topic because you can't leave that money on the table. And now it's shifted a lot to the health revenue. That was always something that needed to be paid attention to very closely, but now it's even higher up on the list of things to pay attention to. Talking about controllable versus non-controllable factors, how do you set your systems up and be proactive to prevent denials? Paying close attention to payer behaviors. I felt like that was a lot of both conscious and subconscious swirling of conversation around payer management. Again, I think there's some things that we could do to help our clients in that thing. Benchmarks around write-offs, healthy AR ranges, how to measure against yourself versus just not just the industry, but against yourself, because there are nuances to different clients based on the payer mix and the product mix and some of those variables. And then, of course, talk about automation and analytics, which is sitting in the sweet spot there. So some good takeaways from there. Again, some things that validate what we're looking at, some things that we might be able to look at a little bit differently, or the payer and our expectations on the client's expectations are and how others in the industry see some of those benchmarks. So some really good stuff, even though I've been around the business a long time. Always look forward to getting some new, either validated information or new information to help support the premier client experience as we go along.
Absolutely. Joey, how about you?
I have spoke at every Medtrade for the last 7 years, and this was the first time in 7 years that I didn't get selected. So that was also a little bittersweet. So as a result, it was
I'm sure it wasn't personal.
they did have fewer slots, and they changed up the format as well, where they were kind of looking for people to volunteer to speak on different topics. And there weren't that many around rev cycle. So I guess some others won out, but either way, it was definitely a different type of show for me. I spent a lot more time on the floor, on the expo floor than previously. The big thing that kind of struck me at this show is technology, the emergence of technology. Obviously it's been emerging, but become the hot topic, I would say. And you're starting to see also some new players emerge when it comes to technology, new billing softwares, solutions. And one that really got me excited, because I know these guys, is 360. They exhibited for the first time, and they have an automated inventory management platform. And it's the only one of its kind. It's unique. We're the only company out there with something like that. It's really incredible. And they actually had it out ready for demo. It uses RFID, and it tracks inventory latently. It tracks inventory behind the scenes as the products move in and out of the doors. The system is keeping track of the ins and outs. And it's really incredible. So you don't have to scan stuff. No more barcodes. I mean, it really is the future, right? Just wave a wand, do your physical inventory, space age type stuff. So
yeah, that was really cool. I was blown away by how easy it was, that it was just like, you don't have to have any special barcode anywhere. You don't have to make sure this is visible or that, but because it's RFID, it's all proximity based. So that tracker can be almost anywhere on the pallet, and just by passing through this zone, they know, okay, it's done.
It really is.
Through.
It's like, it kind of blows your mind when you actually go look at it and see how it works and start to think about the implications. I know a lot of companies are going through physical inventory right now. Physical inventory is kind of a nightmare. And imagine, instead of that, you just walk through your warehouse, waving a wand over your shelves, and it counts everything. It's just, what?
Yeah.
It really is awesome. So that was cool. The automated tracking, of course, that's cool. And I know we're going to have those guys on the podcast, because that's important. I know we're RevCycle, but this is important because one of the number one reasons why you can't confirm an order is because of an inventory issue. And of course, when you can't confirm an order and you have to send it to somebody else to get work, to get resolved, now you're adding days to your DSO. You're adding work. You're having to do rework. So having the inventory spot on, true perpetual inventory that's unheard of in our industry, and having that in place really enables the rev cycle flywheel to just spin right along instead of constantly being hampered and slowed by things like this serial number is out on some other patient, right? Or we don't have enough quantity of this product. So, so that was huge. I'd say the big day for Medtrade this year was Tuesday, the October 25th. And it was just like all day, starting at 9 a.m. The expo opened for the first time. So a lot of traffic on the expo floor, right into session, evening, had the reception there at the expo. And then right after that, you had the AA home care event, which Chuck and Melissa, I know you both attended and we sponsored. And of course, right after that was the VGM party, which also we sponsored and we were all at as well at the College Football Hall of Fame. So it was really just an incredible, right? 9 a.m. to, I think the VGM party ended at midnight. So just a real full day there.
I loved that the band wore referee uniforms. I thought that was very clever at the Football Hall of Fame.
That's right.
They were all, yeah. You mentioned you spent a lot of time on the floor. So I'm always curious because the floor is really kind of where all the networking and the deal making and stuff happens. So what were some of the conversations, the big things that you noticed people were bringing up again and again when they talked to you?
Technology. That's what everyone's talking about is technology. How do they get more automation? How do they reduce headcount? We're being forced into this corner as an industry because on one side, our costs are going up, product costs are up. Meanwhile, your fee schedules are set, right? Those aren't going up with inflation. Those aren't going up to be commensurate with your increased shipping costs and things like that. And at the same time, labor costs now are in a real crunch because of the inflationary environment. People are more expensive. And there's also been this whole great resignation and this loss of the labor pool. So all that coming together, right? We have higher costs. We have the same reimbursement. Where's the squeeze, right? I mean, we've already been squeezed so long. Right now, you don't have any choice but to embrace technology and to find ways to be more efficient, to automate. The vision is that your team works by exception and that the majority of the orders are able to flow through the system in as automated a fashion as possible. That's a dream. And different providers have realized that dream to different extents, but it really is where we're all being forced to go. So you have to go look at the technology that's available and like e-prescribe. There's still a tremendous amount of resistance to e-prescribe, although it is going up. And I truly believe that it's the future. I truly believe that providers have to embrace it. They have to get out there. They need to partner with one or more of these providers like Parachute or DME Scripts or one of the others, and they need to get it out there because we're rapidly approaching a world where the fax machine will not be the primary source of referrals. And you need to be ready to be in that information stream to receive those. It sounds crazy right now as I say it, but I swear it's true. This is happening all over the country. The health system, especially major health systems, are turning away from the fax machine and they're looking for electronic referrals. And then it's more secure. They're able to send the medical records along with the referral. So there's all this back and forth. Truly is the future. So that kind of stuff, right? It's that's the world I'm in too. Of course, that's what we're very focused on here at ProChant. We've got our own platform that we've developed to bolt on to any of the EMRs or billing systems out there. And it's an automated AR platform, right? And we're developing that platform actively, heavily. And it's for this very same reason, right? We recognize that the days of these call centers with hundreds and hundreds of people doing revenue cycle processes are numbered. And we now have to embrace things like technology.
Today, providers are more open and have to be more open today. So whatever's going to help their business, right? And e-prescribe can be it can be a pretty simple and somewhat less scary adoption. I think some of the challenges that the industry faces is the external adoption of it, right? Getting some of the providers, the referral to, you would think, because they're already doing that and so many of their other disciplines would be on board, but we've always been such an adjunct and it still sometimes I think feels a little bit disconnected. And I think here, I think we're going to be challenged as well to make this technology and all these processes as simple as possible, because now instead of a DME provider sort of controlling the entire hub of their business, everything is inside. They have now a partner on the RCM side. They may have a partner on the inventory side. They may have a partner on the e-prescribed side. And that's when they start trying to manage multiple channels. There's a little bit more complexity to that. So I think that's sort of the transition that RCM outsourcing, I think, has been well adopted and understood, and it just continues to get better with the technology. Layering in some of these other things requires more channel management. And so I think that's not challenges, but there are opportunities, but also some awareness, right, of the leaders who are managing this business.
Yep. And I would just, close up by encouraging everybody who's listening to go to Medtrade 2023. Go to the one, they're going to one Medtrade per year. It should be big. I mean, all signs are pointing to this being a very large show. Those of us who've been in the industry for some time remember in the past when Medtrade was a much larger show with a lot more attendance. And I think we may be headed back there with this one annual show. In fact, we heard that there were people who didn't come to this Medtrade East because the next Medtrade 2023 is in March of next year. And they said, we'll just plan on going to that one. So I think it's going to be a big show. I think it's going to be a really big show in a new city in Dallas, Texas. That's going to be a really good time. So I encourage everybody out there, if you can, all the business owners, senior leaders, billing managers, service managers, inventory managers, and purchasing agents. Those are the folks at your business who need to be at Medtrade to not only attend the sessions, to walk the floor and to network with the people who are there.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And just in general, like taking the opportunity, a lot of people will go, oh, well, this is very expensive. And it's a lot of effort and expense to go to events like this. And, really, it's hard to put a dollar value, though, on the experience of getting a chance to interact face to face with other people in your industry and talk and make those connections and have those unplanned moments of shared experience with other people in your industry that can lead to some incredible stuff that builds relationships that are invaluable later. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this newer, larger, unified Medtrade and the benefits of getting everybody together in one spot and what that can bring.
I think that's a great way to wrap it up in terms of the encouragement to the providers to attend and the opportunities for networking and the opportunities to see new and emerging technologies and how the industry continues to partner to move us forward.
Well, again, thank you, Joey and Melissa, for joining us today. And thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel or rate us on Apple Podcasts if you get a chance. It really helps spread the word of the show. And if you have a colleague that you think would benefit from the information that we share, please send them our way. We'd really appreciate it. As always, thanks for joining us. We hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're at, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Modern Healthcare Back Office, a presentation of ProChant, a wholly owned revenue cycle management service dedicated to serving HME, pharmacy, infusion, and other healthcare providers. Learn more about us at prochant.com.